what's going on in the marketplace and try and make sense of it all. I mean, let's do a classic example. In, I'd say, June and July, I'm sitting there showing houses to many buyers, and everyone's saying, you got to buy a house now, you got to buy a house now. Mortgage rates are low, buy a house, buy a house. And I'm seeing buyers paying $70,000, $80,000, $100,000 over asking on a house. Okay? My buyers are getting thrown out, they're just getting blown out of the water, paying $20,000 over asking. I mean, they don't even come close to buying the house. And everyone says, oh, this is a great time to buy a house. How is it a great time to buy a house when you're paying $100,000 over asking? You say, well, with the low interest rates, it's still a deal. It's like, no, it's not. Some of those houses aren't worth that kind of money ever. But anyway, so I'm watching, and as a real estate agent, I've been doing this since I've been doing it for a long time. I'm guessing like 2006. I haven't checked recently, but it's been a long time, and I'm watching this happen. I'm like, man, this does seem like it happened before. But my buyers are like, John, what should we do? Should we quit? Should we give up? And I said, no. I said, there will be a house for you. It will come. It may not come this week. It may not come next week, but there's a house for you. And so that's what we did. And so for a lot of my buyers, we kind of waited out. I mean, we went and looked, and we made offers when we could, and we saw things that were a certain price. We would put an offer, but I just noticed I'm all got dog hair there. Sorry about that. Anyway, now the market's dead. So now we go in and buy a house. I've had like 6 closings in the past 2 months, which for some people isn't a big deal. But remember, I'm the only person in my brokerage. I think it's okay. The average real estate agent does 10 in a year. I got that beat. So anyway, that being said, we're in a new part of the market now. Like I said, the market's dead. Well, how do you know it's the market's dead? Well, when I list a property, nobody goes to see it. And you say, well, you priced it wrong. No. I didn't price it wrong. No one's going. I could have priced it 20% below what it's worth right now. And still, there's just no one there. And so this is something where the market's going to have to get used to, or at least sellers are going to have to get used to lowering prices. But, it's part of it. Right now is a good time to be a buyer. You say, it's not a good time to be a buyer. Or you say, it's always a good time to be a buyer. I mean, there's certain times where it's like, you should buy a house. I mean, if you've got life-changing events going on, if you're getting married, if you're having kids and you want to start a family, I mean, it's a great time to buy a house. It's always a great time to buy a house if it's for the right reasons. It's not a good time to buy a house if you think that prices are going to go up like 15% this year. Not a good time to buy a house. It's not a good time to buy a house if you can't afford the payments that have more than doubled since June and July. But I mean, that's the way the market is. And the way I plan to do this is when things go well, we'll talk about things going well. And when things are going badly, we'll talk about things that are going badly. But you have to understand, it depends on which side of the fence you're on. Right now, sellers are not happy because they're putting houses on the market for asking, and then no one's showing up. Okay, so they're like, well, this is a crappy market. Buyers are looking at what's on the market and saying those things are too expensive, and gosh, I can afford half the house I used to. So I don't want this house that we're looking at now. It's not nearly as good as the house that I could have afforded in June, in theory. So weird time in the marketplace, okay? And we're just going to navigate it. Today I put my live stream in the news and politics section. I've been messing around lately with the different categories. I don't know if it helps. I don't know. I don't know. Let me. Excuse me. I've been a little bit down as a YouTuber. My watch hours are going down. My views are going down. And it's like I'm not doing anything different than I was a while ago. So why is everything going down? Shouldn't it be going up? I mean, if you look at my show now from before, It's much, much better. It's much, much better. I'm much, much better than I was before. Now, am I the best? Probably not. Probably not in the best space right now. I'm just learning. I'm trying to figure it out. But to constantly go out there and just get hammered by the YouTube algorithm. I mean, if it's showing my video to like 14 people, that's not going to be a very good show. And you may say, well, John, your show's terrible. But I've seen other shows. I've seen other videos that get views. And I'm telling you, there's worse and they do much better. So I don't know what's going on. You may say, well, you're biased. Okay, I'm biased. I don't know. Anyway, so I've been a little bit depressed. So last night I did do a show, and tonight I did do a show. Tomorrow I'm going out of town. So it's the depression is not causing me to not do a show tomorrow. I'm just going to be out of town all the way till Sunday. If I feel like it, I'll hop on Sunday afternoon, Sunday evening to do a stream. But I don't know. We'll just have to see. Today was we're going to have a floor update. The floor, if you haven't been following along, the kitchen sewer line, which is a smaller pipe that goes from the kitchen to the main in my basement, 2 holes in it. We cut that part of the pipe out, found more holes down the way. So the pipe needs replacement. And so I've been working on replacing the pipe. It's not fun. I have an insulated concrete floor with flooring that I actually like. And so I have to be very careful with what I do. There's door frames and stuff, so I can't just cut a trench. It's been tough. But I did get on to it today. I did that. I had a home inspection this afternoon for one of my buyers. Nice house. I hope they enjoy it. I hope it works out, that they can close on the deal. And then tomorrow I have a closing. So things are okay for me. Now, are they going to be okay for me next year? I don't know. This business is not very predictable. And like I told you last night, a lot of times when everyone's jumping into the market to be a real estate agent, that's not the time where I make money. That's the time where I just basically tread water until the market turns and gets rid of all the other real estate agents. And then I have a pretty good couple of weeks and a couple of years, maybe. And then it does it again. And that's one thing I would say that I'm uncomfortable with as I've grown up. I don't know if it was true before, but now this will be the second time where housing is going to get crushed in my lifetime that I remember. And I don't really like these boom and bust cycles. I thought that's what the Federal Reserve was for. I thought the Federal Reserve was to moderate the economy so that we could have great economic prosperity. I don't feel like they do. I don't feel like they do a very good job at all. This should not have happened. So that's that. Let me tell you. Well, let's do a couple things. We're gonna do things a little bit differently tonight. We're gonna go over some articles first. We're gonna talk about the Freedom Factory and a zoning change that might affect the closing of the Freedom Factory. I would hate for that because I enjoy that scene. Fast cars, people building their own cars and having fun. The car community, if you will. We're going to talk about the economy with an article from Peter Schiff. We're going to talk about 2 odd things. People are always surprised that like real estate is, stolen from them, but we'll go over why that's not a surprise, how they do it. And then we'll talk about an article that was kind of interesting about like collusion, or the class action suit for collusion in apartment rentals. We'll just go over that. We have some tweets. We're gonna switch. We're not gonna do the tweets first, even though I love the tweets. I feel like I didn't get to where I needed to get to last night as far as articles, and I do think we should go over that kind of stuff. I think that's the only way we can kind of learn. So the first thing I wanted to talk about tonight was something that I saw with a real estate agent recently, and it doesn't always happen. And so that's why I wanted to talk about it. And that's I had an agent. I was listing a property for sale, and I had an agent. The first day I had it on the market, it had an offer, and there were showings scheduled throughout the day. Now some people showed up and some people didn't. But as the day progressed, I mean, by noon I had an offer, but I still had people scheduled to go, and so they, oddly enough, both two agents called me and said, "Hey, I'm going to show this," and I was like, "We better get to it quick because I've got this contract here. It's pretty good. It was a pretty good contract. I wasn't like bluffing or trying to elicit like a higher offer. I was just trying to be respectful to the other agents because I've been on the other end of where like you have a buyer and they're so excited to write an offer, and then by the time you write the offer, the deal's gone. The house is gone, and you're like, what the hell? It's very annoying. It's very annoying. So I told him, I said, look, I've got an offer. It's due by like 4. You're welcome to write before then. And so one of the agents said, hey, we're going to write. So I said, okay, good. And then the other agent said, hey, we're going to write. I said, well, look, then we're not going to take this other offer. We'll wait it out. So now the risk on my part as an agent is, look, whenever the best offer you have is the offer you have at hand most of the time. It's also most of the time the first offer you get. That's the way it was until the craziness of the summer. But I said, to my sellers, they were all for it. And so we went and we ended up getting a very good deal. Now, one of those agents that I was talking about went back to her office, wrote it out by hand, the whole offer, and sent it over. And one of the agents got the deal and the other agent didn't. So how do we look at this? Look, we look at it like this. The agent earned that deal. The buyers that she represented had the better offer. And so I want you to understand that agents do make a difference in real estate deals, a significant difference in how they do things. Some of the stuff that I do, I don't know. I know that it works based on the fact that I've done enough deals in the past. But when you are looking for an agent, you want someone that's done a lot of deals. Maybe not somebody that's jaded, because but you also want somebody that. And then so you say, how many deals is? I don't know. Just if you're in the business for a long time, that's typically helpful. Like if you just got your license last year, no. And just know real estate agents on both sides, on the listing side and on the buyer side, can screw up deals dramatically. So whichever side you're on, the one thing you can control is who you choose as a real estate agent. So you should pick one that you're comfortable with and know that they've done enough deals where they're not going to be surprised by anything that happens. Now, look, I'm always surprised by something that happens to a deal. There's never anything perfect. I'll tell you, on a recent deal, the management company was charging outrageous rates for resale certificates for condos. And then they were charging for other financial paperwork even more. It was ridiculous. It was about $500 just to get get the information that you would need to close on a home. So, I mean, there's, that's new to me. Normally, honestly, in most condos, I say, hey, I need this information. They're like, oh, sure, here you go. Good luck selling the house. Good luck selling the condo. Not these people. They were terrible. So anyway, bottom line is, an agent does matter. You may say that we're all, terrible people and whatever. Anyway, I just know, having watched this deal go down from the listing side, that agents do make a deal. Now, understand, your agent can do the best they can and still come up short. That's what happened to the other agent. She had a fine offer as well, but it's just one was better. one was better. And so for the other agent, I mean, she deserved to get the condo under contract as well. It just didn't happen. And you feel bad. I do, at least, because I feel like I've been on that side enough, especially over the summer. I'm there. Look, I'm going to do this a lot. I'm sorry. And I'm going to do this a lot because I was working in my basement and it's very, very dusty. I was cutting concrete and the dust was everywhere. I was wearing a mask and everything, but it was still just everywhere. And so please forgive me if I offend you with scratching my nose or my eyes tonight. That's about it. I'm going to go into the articles now. It's annoying. Okay. The first thing I wanted to do was go over the rates for day. We are just doing things out of order tonight. I'm sorry. Here we go. We're going to Deerwood Realty, STL.com.